See? Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to my channel. And I'm talking today to Carina in Denmark. And
No, I'm in Sweden.
Sweden. I beg my pardon.
Yes.
Okay, got it all
Yes.
mixed up again. So many people, so many
Stockholm,
former
Sweden.
volunteers calling me. All right.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. You're in Sweden. Where are you in Sweden?
Stockholm. In Stockholm.
In Stockholm. Nice place. I was
Yes.
there 53 years ago. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, so I will ask my questions straight in. You see, there are so many opportunities for volunteering all over the world. And, you know, people like to volunteer because they want to give something of themselves to some place or some people who need extra help. Well, my first question is, why did you volunteer for Kibbutz?
Well, why? It was a long time ago. It was in '88. So I had just finished school. I wanted to go traveling, and there was this organization called Swedish. It was Swedish Kibbutz Friends. It was, and so it was well known. And I thought I was, well, I had always been like, I had always wanted to go to Israel. It's like with Jerusalem and everything. It's like the history, the center of the history for me. I wanted to go to Israel. I think it was mainly that.
Okay, well, look, the volunteer movement started in a big way in 1967 with the build-up towards the Six-Day War. And suddenly everybody all over the world wanted to volunteer and help poor Israel, and because we were under threat from the Egyptian army and from the Syrians. So there was a need. And then the war was over so quickly that people in the first week or two, there was something like 5,000 volunteers. And very quickly, it started as a worldwide movement with Dakiv and Speikiv and kibbutz representatives and kibbutz aliyades and representatives all over the world. So when you volunteered, I mean, did you still feel that in fact there was a need for volunteering, or was it because of what you'd heard from different people?
I don't know. I think it was from what I heard from different people. I didn't think of it as a need for Israel. No, I didn't.
I see. So tell me, what did you hear from different people?
No, I heard that it was fun, that it was hard work, that it was an experience, that it was a different kind of life with how a kibbutz is built up.
Okay, so tell me, which kibbutz were you at and when were you there?
I was in Beit Guvrin, which is north of Beersheba, I think. Yeah, it was a long time.
It's north of Beersheba and east of Kiryat Gat.
Exactly, close to Kiryat Gat. And it was, I went there like 2 weeks after the Intifada started in '87, in December '87. So I was at home. I had just finished school in the summer, and on the news they were all talking about the Intifada, the first Intifada, I think.
Okay, so the first Intifada, the first Arab uprising in modern times, which started actually in Gaza through a traffic accident, and one thing quickly led to the other. And tell me, did you have any fears or worries about coming to Israel when this Arab uprising, the Intifada, the first Intifada, started?
I mean, it was so new, but we saw it on the news, and of course, I was 19. I was a little bit worried, actually. But not. Uh, but I still wanted to go.
So what did your parents say?
Oh, they were. It was also their daughter went away for 3 months. It was supposed to be 3 months. In the end, it was 7.
Yeah.
And then I came back the year after for 2 more months. So it's been
But were
total 9 months.
were your parents worried about you?
I think they were. I don't remember, but I think they were. I mean, first Israel. I think none of them had been in Israel, and then the Intifada, of course, but also that I was going away for so long.
I see. Well, right now we actually need volunteers, but the situation with mass communication, as it wasn't in those days when you arrived as a young girl. Nowadays, the whole world knows about the war situation, which in fact is the longest war that we have ever had since the War of Independence in 1948. Now, the problem here is we need volunteers because all of the agricultural side, it's in a full season in all different branches. But the problem is that we don't have any accommodation available.
Oh, no.
You see, we've taken in my kibbutz, we've taken in, one moment, let me just put it back here on this. Okay. We've taken in my kibbutz 170 people from Kibbutz Gvaram on the Gaza border. Altogether, there have been about 150,000, maybe more, Israelis who have been evacuated both from the Gaza border and from the Lebanese border. So although we need volunteers, we don't have accommodation to take them in. I myself, I've taken in a family, divided my house into 2, and my neighbor as well, and everything else. Anyway, so tell me, where did you work in your kibbutz?
You know, right before we started to talk here, I was looking at old photos to like remember more because it's a long time ago. And I started to work in Agachar, is it called? It was like a salad kitchen. Was it called Agachar?
What did you call it in Hebrew?
Agachar.
I don't recognize the word, but never mind. I understand.
Okay. I started to work like in the salad kitchen. I was making salads, food, but I only did that for like 1 or 2 weeks because I was working with this woman. She was really nice, but I was supposed to be working there by myself after, and I'm a very sociable person. I wanted to have colleagues, and so I changed and I worked in the refet. That I know what that is called.
The milking parlor.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
How did you enjoy that?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yes, I had no experience. I like the animals, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't have liked it. But I thought it was great.
I see. Tell me, were you surprised that Israel, as a Middle Eastern country, had the big dairy farms?
Yes, I was. I had no idea. And that it was so modern. I got family up north in Sweden, and then they were farmers. And I remember like writing letters and telling them how modern it was, because there was a few hundred cows. I don't remember exactly, but it was very modern and very good, very nice, and very clean. We cleaned every day.
Yeah, in the refet, in the milking parlor, you have to milk 3 shifts a day, yes?
Exactly.
I know that because my eldest stepson, he works in the cow sheds here. My eldest son is the poster boy of episode number 1, the big muscular guy. You'll see him. And apart from that, as we talked before recording this conversation here, I told you that my youngest stepson, he lives in Beit Guvrin. So I visited Beit Guvrin, and hopefully in between the shots here of our conversation, I may be able to film around the Beit Guvrin on my next visit, show you around. We'll see.
Yes.
I'm sure it's changed.
Oh, yes, it must have. Oh, that would be so nice. I really. But it was hard work in the effort, I have to say. And we started to work. We were milking cows either at 4 o'clock in the morning, or at 12 at noon, or at, was it 6 or 8? I don't remember. 6 o'clock maybe in the evening.
Okay. So you worked in the milking parlor with the cows for how many? 7, 9 months? How long was it?
Yeah, 7. I think. Well, more or less 7 months. I also worked a little bit in the. They had a glue factory. I don't know if it's still there.
The
It
glue
was called
factory. I don't
BG
know. I've
Bond.
never visited the industrial side of the kibbutz. Okay.
BG Bond, it was called. So I worked there for a month or 2. Yeah.
Well, I'll check it out next time I'm there. When I go in, I hope I don't get stuck there. Tell me, how would you say you benefited from your time in kibbutz? Maybe you didn't benefit. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I did. I think I did, but it's difficult to say. But I mean, first of all, I benefited from this. Was my first experience from being abroad for a long time, living in another country. After that, I have been living in Spain for many years. But of course, meeting all these people, understanding that we all have so different life situations, and I mean, it makes me think about. I don't know if I have benefited from that, but in Sweden we haven't had war for like a few hundred years, and I remember working there, and I was milking with this man, and he had a gun in his pocket, and of course that was really like strength for me. And he was like, and I had to ask him why, and he told me that, well, this is reality here. If something happens.
Yes, well, Bet Guvrin, if you go a little bit east of Bet Guvrin, it's already into the West Bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I think I learned that. I don't know if I benefited, but I learned that there are that can also be a reality.
Yes. Okay, well, now we've actually moved on to the present situation of us in Israel, kibbutzniks, non-kibbutzniks, moshavniks, and the Arabs around us in the West Bank, and the Israeli Arabs and the Arabs in Gaza. Let me ask you, today, actually, they've just opened up in the International Court in The Hague in Holland with a motion put forward by South Africa, of all countries, where there is huge discrimination, huge social issues, crime, drugs, weapons, and everything else. And South Africa have accused Israel of a war of genocide against the Palestinians. Let me have your opinion about that. What do you think? I mean, is Israel waging a war of genocide?
I think that's I think that's hard. I think it's harsh, and I don't know if I can. I mean, I think it's a horrible situation now. It was horrible what happened on the 7th of October, and it's horrendous that there are all these hostages are still. They are still hostages. All the even the people that has been freed. I mean, they are probably in a lot of trauma after this, and but at the same time, I can think that there are too many people dying in Gaza right now. So in some way, it has to stop.
Okay, I agree with you. There are too many people dying in Gaza. There are too many people here in Israel. Every day we have funerals of soldiers killed in action. And
Yes.
I personally, every Israeli feels it personally, but because first of all, you see it from your own point of view, but I agree with you about the death and destruction and the whole issue in Gaza itself, that we have to find a way forward on this. Let me ask you, generally speaking, about Sweden. What is the feeling in Sweden, generally, from what you see either around you or on the news, about what's going on here with the war against Hamas?
I think it has been very little media coverage of the 7th of October attack. It, of course, when it happened, but after that, I think it's just something that you say that it was an attack from Hamas. The government has condemned it, and but now all the focus is on Gaza and the people there, I think. And there's not so much talk about the hostages or
I
that.
understand. Tell me, is there any mention in the news in Sweden about what's happening with Hezbollah on the border in Lebanon? Because there are sporadic attacks. I mean, every day a little bit of firing, but I presume that maybe it's seen as a sideshow to the main events in Gaza.
Yes, it is. But I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it on the news. Yes, I've seen that, and that the people there has been evacuated on both sides. I saw it the other day. So there is coverage of that, but I don't know very much about it actually.
Let me ask you about the coverage of what you see or heard in, for example, in your city. Have there been any demonstrations, pro-Israel or pro-Palestine demonstrations?
I know there has been pro-Palestine demonstrations. I don't know about any pro-Israel demonstrations, but maybe there has been, but I don't know that.
You know, I know there's a Jewish community in Stockholm. Many, many, many years ago, the Kibbutz movement wanted to send me to Stockholm to represent the Kibbutz movement. And I told the guy who was headhunting in the Kibbutz movement, I said, but I don't speak Swedish. He said, he said, don't worry, you'll learn.
Yeah, it's easy.
Then they wanted to send me. I said, no, I don't want to go to a country where I don't speak the language. So he said, go to Melbourne. I said, leave me alone. Talk to me after I do my army service. And then after I did my army service. Anyway, this is not about me. It's about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you found that living in a kibbutz in a 24/7 society and mixing with other people shoulder to shoulder, first and foremost with volunteers and then with the people, that guy with the gun in his pocket in the cow sheds and then everything else. It taught you, I presume, a lot of things about other people and taught you things about yourself, about socializing. Can you think back and remember maybe some of the things that it taught you about yourself? I know it's a very hard question. So let me skip
That's a
back in
hard
time.
question. God, that's a very hard question. What is
All right, so we'll
that?
skip it. What did it teach you about other people? Or what did it teach you
Uh,
about living in close harmony with other people that perhaps you didn't have that type of experience back home as
no,
a teenager, adolescent, or a schoolgirl, or whatever?
exactly. No, I didn't, but I loved it. I thought that it was like my dream life.
Your
I think
dream life, okay.
yeah, I think so. I thought even that I would love to live in a kibbutz, like be a kibbutznik. I would love it. That's what I thought even then.
Well, let me tell you something. That living as a volunteer with other volunteers was a good experience for most people. But becoming a kibbutznik, then suddenly, apart from the benefits, you have obligations, which
Yes,
maybe you didn't find out about. But
of course, of course.
but later on, when I publish my book on kibbutz, you'll find out the perhaps the darker side of the kibbutz as it was
Oh,
then. Okay, because things have
okay.
changed in the last 20, 25 years. But prior to that, living as a kibbutznik had many, many difficulties during the 80s and 90s because of the economic collapse of kibbutzim. And when the economy falls down, so does the society and the environment around you. But thank God we changed all of that. We
Yes,
changed all
when
of
I've
that.
seen you.
Go on.
When I've seen your episodes, I've understood that it has changed a lot. It's been really interesting. So to learn more about it, and I'm looking for. If you're writing a book, I'm looking forward to it. To
Well,
read it.
I'll tell you the truth. I I wrote the book in the 80s and the 90s when I was going through tremendous personal difficulties between me and the kibbutz. And I was pushing to open a new branch and different things. And I found out that the kibbutz, because of the economic stress, we weren't on the same page and they weren't really listening to me. So I had a tremendously difficult time. But anyway, that's later on. Since February 2002, we changed the system in my kibbutz, and I was like an uncoiled spring. Suddenly, as we used to say, I didn't have my life in their hands. They were not making decisions for me. I suddenly
No.
made my own decisions.
Yes, I can imagine. And of course, I didn't see that part of it. Of course, I didn't. I just, I like the big family thing, and I like the Israeli people and everything. The people that I worked with, they were really good people.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that. But before we finish, is there anything you want to ask me?
I thought about something the other day, but now.
All right. Well, while you're thinking,
No, what do you think? Well, I actually, of course, what I want to. Well, first of all, I want to ask you to, when you go to Beit Guvrin the next time, you have to do that film, and then if there are people. I mean, I know that our volunteer leader Tula, she's still there. She's Finnish.
What's her name again?
Tula.
No, no. I just got a notification here that we're running out of time on Zoom. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll ask around. I mean, the only people I know there are my youngest stepson and his two sons, who I have a very good relationship with. Okay.
Yes.
Film for you. Anything else before we run out of time?
No, no. It's good. It's good. Thank you for
Okay,
talking.
well, let me just say that I've enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. You're welcome to visit here at any time. I can't put you up in my guest wing because I have the evacuees from Kibbutz Beit Guvrin.
I've actually been thinking the last few years. I've been thinking and about going to Israel. Right now, it's not like.
Well, let me tell you that the guy that I last interviewed from Sweden who came here, who was a volunteer, he told me that Airbnb is tremendously cheap in Israel at the moment because there are no tourists. That's in comparison to the high prices that were prior to the war. Okay. And lastly, before we say goodbye, let me just talk to people who are viewing this. If you have anything that you want to talk about here on this channel about kibbutz, about the war, about me, about you, about anybody else, please let me know on email at kibbutzivri@gmail.com, and we'll leave it at that. Carina?
Yes.
Thank you very, very much for talking to me.
Thank you. And, thank you so much.
Hopefully, you'll become the new superstar on YouTube.
Exactly. Thank you, Ivri.
Okay, thank you. And
thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Bye. I stopped recording, I think. Okay, we're still here. Okay, I haven't pressed the final button. What happens is now I do a save and then it converts. And then I reckon in about, I've got a number of episodes coming up. So in about maybe 3 weeks time, I'll let you know. I've got your email. Okay. And we can keep in touch.
Yes, right? That would be
all right.
Nice.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.